Life is a battlefield, and every wound leaves its mark. But some wounds, the ones carved by the absence of someone you held close, don't heal on their own. They fester, they spread, they consume, if you let them. The truth is harsh but liberating. They are not coming back. Clinging to the hope of their return is like gripping the ashes of a burned bridge. It neither repairs the structure nor carries you to the other side. It only leaves you clutching at the past, blind to the fact that the river of life flows on without you. And that's the reality no one will tell you, but I will. So, are you ready to face the truth? Ready to expose the lies you've been feeding yourself? Because it's time to stop pretending and start living. So, if you're ready to break free and rebuild stronger than ever, press that like button under this video and don't forget to subscribe. This is your turning point. So friends, life doesn't wait for you. It moves on, with or without your permission. Yet here you are, sitting in the ruins, clutching at memories, hoping they'll return, hoping they'll see your worth. But why don't you see your worth? Why don't you see what this is doing to you? They're gone. They made their choice. And here you are, refusing to make yours. You think holding on is love. It's not. It's self-inflicted pain. It's you refusing to face the truth. They left. They walked away. And every moment you spend waiting, every second you spend hoping, you're doing exactly what they want. Giving them power. Power they don't deserve. Power over you, your mind, your emotions, your future. Do you honestly believe they're sitting there thinking about you? Wondering if you're okay? No. They've moved on while you're here, frozen in time, trapped in the prison of your own making. Look at what you're doing to yourself. Look at the chains you've wrapped around your own soul. For what? For someone who didn't see your value when they had you. You keep replaying the what-ifs, thinking you can rewrite the past, thinking if you had just done something differently, they'd still be here. Wake up. The past doesn't care about your fantasies. It's over. Done. And the more you keep living in it, the more you betray the person who needs you most, yourself. They're not coming back. Not because you're unworthy, but because they chose not to, and their choice doesn't define you unless you let it. Do you realize what you're doing? You're giving them free rent in your head, while they've likely forgotten the address. They're out there, living their life, while you sit here, wasting yours. Does that sound fair? Does that sound like love? It's not love. It's self-destruction. Do you really think they'll wake up one day, struck by the epiphany of your greatness? Even if they do, what makes you think you'll want them then? The person who left you, who didn't value you, who didn't fight for you, why would you want them back? You're better than this. You're more than this. But until you see that, nothing will change. You want the truth? You're afraid. Afraid to move on. Afraid to face the reality that they're gone. Because if you let go, you'll have to confront the silence. You'll have to look in the mirror and deal with the person staring back. And that scares you. But here's the thing. You can't heal if you don't face the pain. You can't grow if you don't let go. And you'll never find what you truly deserve if you keep chasing someone who's already walked away. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your power, your dignity, your life. Because every second you spend waiting is a second you steal from yourself. You're better than this. You're stronger than this. But you have to choose it. No one is coming to save you. Not them, not anyone. The only person who can save you is you. And let me tell you something. Sitting here, wallowing in what could have been, doesn't change a damn thing. You think they'll see your worth if you wait long enough? You think they'll regret what they did if you keep punishing yourself like this? They won't. Not as long as they know they still have control over you. Not as long as they know you're still stuck in the shadow they left behind. The only thing that will ever make them see your worth is the one thing you're too afraid to do: moving on, thriving without them, standing tall, stronger than ever, showing them and yourself that their absence doesn't define you, that they didn't break you, that you're not just surviving, you're living. You think their regret will come from seeing you beg for their attention, from watching you crumble under the weight of their rejection? No. Regret comes when they see you rise, when they see the life you've built without them, when they realize that they didn't leave you broken, they left you unstoppable. And if they don't regret it, good, because by then you won't care. You'll be so far ahead, so deeply rooted in your own strength and value, that their opinion will be nothing more than a faint whisper in the background of your life. They'll become irrelevant, and you'll wonder why you ever let them hold so much power over you in the first place. So, stop thinking this is about them. It's not. This is your life, your story, your moment to step out of the wreckage and rebuild. Not for them, not to prove anything to anyone else, but for you, because you're worth it, because you've always been worth it. And it's time you start living like you know it. You are stronger than this. You are worth more than the pain you're holding on to. Say it, write it, feel it. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I choose myself. Let it be the first step in reclaiming your power, your dignity, your life. Go ahead, write it down. I choose myself. Because the moment you affirm it, you start living it. Say it twice, say it 10 times if you need to, but make it real. This is your declaration. This is where you take your first step forward. Number 1, the deception of hope. Hope is the opium of the helpless. It numbs you, blinds you, and keeps you chained to illusions. You've been lied to. Society has fed you this poison disguised as wisdom. Never lose hope. But let me ask you, how is that working out for you? What has hope done for you except keep you stuck in a cycle of waiting and wishing? Hope for their return. Hope that they'll see your worth. Hope that things will magically change. These are chains, not solutions. And the longer you hold on to them, the heavier they get. Picture this: a prisoner sitting in a cell, dreaming of a key that will never come. Does he break free by hoping for rescue? No, he rots. Because while he's busy dreaming, the cell bars remain unbroken. Hope doesn't set him free. His own action, his own strength does. And yet here you are, clinging to this empty hope like it's going to save you, when all it's doing is keeping you locked in the past. This isn't optimism. This is self-deception. Stoicism cuts through the lies with a brutal truth. Freedom comes from letting go of what you cannot control. Epictetus said it best: freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And yet, you keep focusing on them. Their choices, their actions, their return. But none of that is yours to control. What is yours is the choice to break free or stay enslaved. Let's be real. Hope has become your tormentor, not your savior. It whispers, just wait. They'll realize what they lost. They'll come back. And while you're listening to this sweet poison, your life is slipping through your fingers. Hope isn't keeping you alive. It's keeping you stuck. It's time to wake up. Stop waiting for them to come back. Stop giving them the power to dictate your life. Stop letting hope for something that isn't happening hold you hostage. The truth is harsh, but it's your way out. They're not coming back. And even if they did, would you still want someone who left you behind? This isn't the time to hope. It's the time to act. Break the bars. Free yourself. Reclaim your life. Because the longer you wait, the more time you waste. And you deserve better than wasting your life on someone who's already moved on. You don't need them. You don't need their validation, their approval, or their return. What you need is to remember who you are, strong, capable, and enough. Say it, write it, feel it. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I free myself. Say it again. I free myself. Because the moment you declare it, the moment you put it into words, you begin to live it. This is your turning point, your moment to break the chains. Write it in the comments. Let this be the first step to reclaiming the life that's yours. Number 2, the lies society tells you. The lies you believe are the chains you wear. You've been sold a dream, a comforting, sugar-coated fantasy that keeps you stuck, waiting and wasting your life. Society loves to feed you lies, doesn't it? Lies that make you passive, lies that keep you hoping, lies that rob you of your power. It's time to shatter them. Let's start with the first one. Time heals all wounds. Really? Is that what you've been clinging to? Sitting there, doing nothing, hoping that the days, weeks, months will somehow erase the pain. Time doesn't heal wounds. Effort does. You can sit there for years and still be just as broken, just as hurt, if you don't actively work to heal yourself. Time is just a tool. It's useless if you don't pick it up and use it. Healing requires action, facing your pain, rebuilding your strength, and choosing to move forward. Waiting for time to magically fix you is like standing in a burning house and hoping the flames will put themselves out. Then there's the next lie. They'll regret leaving you. Stop it. Stop fantasizing about their regret as if it's some kind of victory for you. You're so focused on whether they'll realize what they lost. But what about you? What are you doing with yourself while you sit there waiting for their imaginary regret? Their hypothetical what-ifs don't matter. What matters is your reality, what you're building, what you're becoming. And here's the harsh truth. Even if they do regret it one day, so what? What does their regret change for you? Nothing. Their regret won't erase the pain. It won't give you back the time you lost. And it sure as hell won't make up for their absence. The only thing that will make a difference in your life is you. So stop wasting your energy on a fantasy and start investing it in your growth. Now, the third lie. You need closure from them. This one's the cruelest. Closure? You think that's something they owe you? You think if they give you a few words, a neat little explanation, that it'll make everything better? Let me tell you the truth. Closure isn't a gift someone else gives you. It's something you create for yourself. Chasing closure from them is like trying to fill a broken vase with water. It will never hold. Even if they come back with apologies, explanations, or regret, it won't change what happened. It won't undo the damage. Closure doesn't come from their words. It comes from your decision to let go, to stop needing answers, to stop needing them. Marcus Aurelius said it best. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop waiting for them to make you whole. Stop waiting for the lies society tells you to come true. Time won't heal you unless you heal yourself. Their regret won't matter if you've already moved forward. And closure? That's something you take for yourself when you decide it's time to stop looking back. So, what are you going to do? Keep believing the lies and waiting for something that isn't coming? Or are you going to stand up, face the truth, and take control of your life? The choice is yours. It always has been. You don't need their regret, their apology, or their closure. You need to choose yourself. Say it, write it, own it. I release myself. Drop it in the comments right now. Let this be your declaration that you're done waiting, done hoping, done believing the lies. Say it again. I release myself. Because the moment you affirm it, the chains start to fall away. Write it, feel it, and let it mark the beginning of your freedom. This is your life. It's time to take it back. Number 3. The pain of reality. The truth doesn't break you. It sets you free, but only if you're strong enough to face it. The hardest pill to swallow is the truth. Not the watered-down version you tell yourself to feel better, not the lies society whispers to keep you comfortable, but the raw, unfiltered reality. They are not coming back. That's not defeat. That's liberation. But only if you're willing to accept it. You think holding on is strength? It's not. It's fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of letting go. Fear of what comes next. But clinging to false hope isn't saving you. It's suffocating you. It's like a tree refusing to shed its dead leaves in autumn, clinging to them out of desperation while the cold of winter sets in. A tree doesn't mourn what it loses. It lets go because it knows renewal can't happen without release. And that's what you need to do. Stop clinging to what's gone. Stop holding on to the idea that things will go back to the way they were. They won't. And that's okay, because what's ahead of you is far greater than what you've left behind. But you'll never see it if you keep your eyes fixed on the past. Here's the brutal truth. Every second you spend wishing, hoping, and waiting for them to come back is a second stolen from your growth. False hope stunts you. It keeps you locked in a cycle of stagnation, unable to move forward because you're too busy looking backward. You can't build a future when you're still grieving a past that's already burned to the ground. Acceptance isn't defeat. It's strength. It's the courage to look reality in the eye and say, I see you, and I'm ready to move forward. It's not giving up. It's leveling up. It's choosing yourself over the pain, over the false promises, over the lies that hope has been feeding you. Stoicism teaches us the power of emotional resilience, the ability to endure pain, face hardship, and come out stronger on the other side. But resilience doesn't come from waiting for life to get easier. It comes from embracing the hard truths and using them to grow. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." Your suffering has meaning. It's shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for the next chapter of your life, but only if you let it. The pain you feel right now? It's not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's showing you what you need to let go of, what you need to rebuild, and who you need to become. Don't run from it. Face it, embrace it, and then use it as fuel to move forward. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your power, your dignity, your future. Stop waiting for someone to come back and save you. You're the only one who can do that. You don't need their return to heal. You don't need their presence to move forward. Say it, feel it, write it. I embrace the truth. Drop it in the comments right now. Let this be the moment you take control of your life. Say it again. I embrace the truth. Because the truth doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you. Write it, own it, and let it be the foundation of your freedom. This is your liberation. Number 4, the power of moving on. The moment you stop chasing what's gone is the moment you make space for what's meant to be. Moving on is not an act of forgetting, it's an act of reclaiming, reclaiming your time, your energy, your peace, and most importantly, yourself. But you've been holding on so tightly, haven't you? Hoping that if you wait long enough, if you suffer long enough, they'll come back. Let me ask you, how much more of your life are you willing to sacrifice for someone who's already moved on from you? Moving on isn't weakness, it's power. It's the decision to stop being a victim of your past and start being the architect of your future. It's not about erasing the memories or pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about taking that pain, that loss, and transforming it into something stronger. Moving on is not letting go of love. It's letting go of the weight that's been dragging you down. Think of a wave crashing against the shore. It doesn't cling to the sand, it erodes. It retreats, gathers strength, and comes back stronger. You are that wave. Your power lies in your ability to keep moving, to keep growing, to keep becoming. Staying stuck in the past isn't noble, it's self-destructive. Let's get real. What has holding on done for you? Has it brought them back? Has it healed your pain? Has it made you stronger? Or has it stolen your days, your nights, your joy? Moving on doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop giving them the power to control your life. The lie you've been told is that moving on is a sign of defeat, that it means you didn't love enough, didn't fight enough. But the truth, moving on is the bravest thing you can do. It's choosing to rise, even when the weight of your grief tries to pull you down. It's saying, I deserve better than waiting for someone who chose to leave. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. You can't control their actions, their choices, or their feelings, but you can control how you respond. You can control whether you stay chained to the past or whether you step into the freedom of your future. When you move on, you reclaim your story. You stop being the person waiting in the shadows and become the person who steps into the light. Moving on isn't about them, it's about you. It's about building a life so full, so vibrant, so strong that their absence becomes irrelevant. Here's the truth. The more you grow, the less you'll care about what you've lost. The person who left you isn't coming back, but the person you're becoming. That's someone worth fighting for. That's someone worth focusing on. Moving on doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you stop letting love hurt you. It means you honor what was, but you refuse to let it hold you hostage. You carry the lessons, not the weight. You use the pain, not as a reason to stop, but as fuel to push forward. Let go of the hope that's been keeping you trapped. Hope for their return isn't hope. It's a leash. Cut it. And when you do, you'll feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Freedom. The kind of freedom that comes when you realize you are enough, with or without them. Remember, your value isn't determined by who stays or who leaves. Your value is determined by the life you build, by the strength you show, by the love you give to yourself. Moving on is the ultimate act of self-respect. It's looking at the past, nodding your head, and walking away without regret. You don't need them. You don't need their return to find happiness. Say it with me. I choose to move on. Write it in the comments. Declare it. Own it. Say it again. I choose to move on. Because moving on isn't about them. It's about you. This is your moment to reclaim your life, your power, and your future. Write it down. Let it be the first step in your transformation. Number 5. Building inner forge. Strength isn't built in comfort, it's forged in fire. You want to be strong? Then stop running from the pain. Stop avoiding the discomfort. Stop waiting for life to hand you the strength you need. Strength is not given, it's earned. And you earn it by facing the very things you fear, the things that hurt, the things you'd rather ignore. Imagine a blacksmith standing over a piece of steel. How does he transform it into a weapon, into something unbreakable? He exposes it to fire. He hammers it, bends it, shapes it. The steel doesn't become strong by avoiding the heat. It becomes strong because of it. And you are no different. Your pain, your heartbreak, your struggles, they are your fire. Embrace them, and you will emerge stronger than ever before. Run from them, and you remain soft, fragile, breakable. Emotional resilience is a choice. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build, and you build it through self-discipline and by embracing discomfort. Life isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to challenge you, test you, push you to your limits. Stop wishing for the storm to pass and start learning how to stand in the rain. Discipline yourself to face the things you'd rather avoid, to wake up and do the work even when it hurts, to sit with your pain instead of numbing it, to let go of what's holding you back, even when it feels impossible. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about preparation. It's about training yourself to become someone who doesn't crumble when life gets hard. And here's the secret: the pain you're feeling right now. It's not the enemy, it's a tool. Perspective is everything. You can either let your pain consume you, or you can let it fuel you. Turn the pain into purpose. Use it as a reason to grow, to evolve, to become someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Think about it. If you never felt pain, how would you know what strength is? If you never faced challenges, how would you grow? Your pain is your teacher, not your tormentor. Let it teach you. Let it show you where you need to heal, where you need to grow, where you need to become stronger. And here's where dark philosophy comes in. Becoming unshakable doesn't mean pretending the darkness doesn't exist. It means embracing it. It means looking at your shadow, the parts of you that are broken, scared, angry, and integrating them into your strength. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Your shadow isn't your enemy, it's your power. The parts of you that feel weak, that feel lost, that feel broken, those are the parts that hold the most potential for growth. When you stop fearing your pain and start embracing it, you become unshakable. When you stop running from your shadow and start owning it, you become unstoppable. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. It's about taking the pieces of yourself that feel shattered and forging them into something unbreakable. It's about standing in the fire and letting it shape you, not destroy you. So, how do you build inner fortitude? You stop avoiding the hard stuff. You face your pain head on. You commit to self-discipline, to doing what's necessary even when it's uncomfortable. You shift your perspective, turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth. And you embrace your shadow, using it as a source of power rather than weakness. This journey won't be easy. It's not supposed to be. But the harder the journey, the stronger you'll become. And one day, you'll look back at the fire you walked through, and you'll realize it didn't burn you. It forged you. You are stronger than the pain. You are stronger than the darkness. Say it with me. I embrace my fire. Write it in the comments. Own it. Feel it. Say it again. I embrace my fire. Because the fire isn't here to destroy you. It's here to transform you. Write it down. Let it be your commitment to face the pain, embrace your strength, and become unshakable. This is your moment. Number 6. The wisdom of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means choosing freedom over the chains of the past. You've been carrying it, haven't you? The weight of what could have been, the regrets, the pain, the endless what-ifs. It's heavy, isn't it? Crushing even. And yet, you refuse to let go. You clutch these stones of the past as if they define you, as if they're all you have left. But here's the truth. Those stones, they're sinking you. They're dragging you down into a river that's meant to carry you forward. Stoicism teaches us that letting go is not an act of weakness, but an act of immense strength. It takes courage to release the past, to stop clinging to what's already gone, to free yourself from the illusions of control. The world will tell you to hold on, that letting go means giving up. But Stoicism cuts through that lie with clarity. True power lies in detachment. Imagine this. You're swimming in a river and you're holding a bag of heavy stones. Each stone represents a memory, a regret, or a hope tied to the person who's no longer with you. The longer you hold on to them, the harder it becomes to stay afloat. The current pulls to you, the weight drags you under, and yet you grip the bag tighter, afraid to let it go, afraid of what it might mean to release it. But what happens if you do? The moment you let go, you rise. You stop sinking. You're no longer fighting the river, you're moving with it. That's what letting go is. It's not losing the stones. It's choosing not to drown because of them. You've been taught to focus on the outcome, haven't you? That if you just try hard enough, wait long enough, or hope deeply enough, you'll get the result you want. But that's not how life works. Stoicism teaches us to detach from the outcome and focus on the process instead. You don't control what happens. You control what you do about it. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you erase the memories or pretend the pain isn't real. Letting go means you stop letting the past dictate your present. It means you free yourself from the need for closure, the need for answers, the need for their return. Lao Tzu said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Holding on to the past is holding on to who you were, not who you can become. You're stuck in a version of yourself that no longer serves you, tied to someone who's already moved on. But when you let go, you open the door to transformation. This isn't about forgetting them. It's about remembering yourself. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't tied to someone else's presence or absence. Letting go is an act of self-respect, of choosing your peace, your growth, your future over the pain of the past. It's time to ask yourself, what are you holding on to and why? Is it love or is it fear? Is it hope or is it denial? The truth is, the longer you hold on, the longer you postpone your own freedom. The longer you wait to let go, the longer you let them control your life. You have the power to release it, to let the stones fall, to rise to the surface, to let the river carry you forward. But you have to choose it. No one else can do it for you. The past is gone. The only thing left to hold on to is yourself. You don't need the weight of the past. You don't need to hold on to what's already gone. Say it now, I let go. Write it in the comments, feel it, own it. Say it again, I let go. Because letting go isn't weakness, it's strength, it's freedom. It's your first step toward the life you deserve. Write it down and let it be your declaration. The weight is falling away and you are rising. Number 7, rebuilding yourself. Rebuilding yourself isn't about becoming who you were. It's about creating someone you've never been before. You've been shattered, haven't you? Broken into pieces by the weight of rejection, loss, and the aftermath of something you thought would last forever. But here's the thing about broken things. They're not worthless. They're an opportunity to create something even stronger, even more beautiful. A shattered mirror, when pieced back together, doesn't hide its scars. It reflects a deeper beauty, a story of resilience and rebirth. And you're that mirror. This is the moment you decide who you're going to be. You can either stay shattered, lost in reflection, or you can start putting the pieces back together. Not to recreate what you were, but to build something new, something unbreakable. Stop spending all your time reflecting on what happened, replaying the pain, and analyzing what went wrong. Reflection has its place, but action is what will save you. You need to do, to move, to act. Start small if you have to, but start. Build habits that strengthen you. Pursue passions that light a fire in you. Embrace solitude, not as loneliness, but as a chance to reconnect with yourself. Rebuilding isn't a passive process. It's a daily choice to rise, to grow, to become. If you've been avoiding something out of fear or pain, that's your starting point. Go there, face it. Do the thing you've been putting off. Rejection didn't break you, it lit a fire under you. Use it. Use the pain, the anger, the loss, and transform it into fuel. Let it drive you, not bury you. This is where dark philosophy comes in. Loss and rejection are not enemies. They're your greatest allies. They strip away the illusions, the comforts, the things you clung to that weren't serving you. What's left is raw, real, and ready for transformation. Rejection shows you where you need to grow. Loss teaches you what you can survive. And survival, that's the foundation of strength. Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The very things that hurt you, that you think are holding you back, are the exact things you need to face and overcome. They're not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Think about this. Every time you get up and do the hard thing, you're rebuilding. Every time you choose action over stagnation, growth over comfort, you're becoming. Rebuilding yourself isn't a one-time event. It's a process. It's showing up every day, doing the work, and choosing to rise even when it feels impossible. Pursue something new. Learn a skill you've always wanted to master. Start a project that excites you. Build a routine that strengthens your body and sharpens your mind. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a piece of the mirror being put back together. And don't underestimate the power of solitude. When you stop fearing being alone, you discover the strength you've always had within you. Solitude is where you rebuild your foundation, free from the noise and expectations of others. It's where you find clarity, purpose, and self-worth that isn't tied to anyone else. Rebuilding yourself means embracing the scars. They're not signs of weakness, they're proof of survival. They tell a story, your story. A story of someone who was broken and refused to stay that way. This isn't just about moving on from the past. It's about becoming unstoppable. The person you're creating doesn't just survive rejection and loss. They thrive because of it. They use it as a catalyst for transformation. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. You have the power to rebuild yourself into someone you're proud of. Someone who doesn't just reflect what happened to them, but radiates what they've become because of it. Every day, every choice, every step is a brick in the foundation of the life you're creating. You are not broken, you are rebuilding. Say it now. I create myself. Write it in the comments. Feel it. Own it. Say it again. I create myself. Because you are the architect of your life, the builder of your strength, and the author of your story. Write it down. Let it be your commitment to action and start creating the person you're meant to be. This is your moment to rise. Number 8. The moment they come crawling back. The moment they come crawling back is not the victory you think it is. It's a test of everything you've become. You've imagined this moment, haven't you? The day they realize what they lost, the day they come back with apologies and regret, the day they beg to be let back into your life. You've built it up in your mind as if it's some kind of justice, as if it will fix everything. But let me tell you something. This moment isn't about them. It's about you. When they come crawling back, it's not the time to bask in validation or get lost in the fantasy you've created. It's the time to show them and yourself what you've built in their absence. The question is not whether they'll regret what they did. The question is, will you even care by the time they do? Here's the harsh truth. Their return isn't redemption. It's recognition. Recognition that you became something greater without them. And while they were out chasing something they thought was better, you were building a version of yourself they can't ignore. But don't mistake their crawling back for love. Often, it's guilt, or loneliness, or fear of the person you've become without them. Think of it this way. A flame that burns out in the wind wasn't strong enough to withstand the storm. Their leaving was the wind, and you survived it. When they come crawling back, they're not bringing the fire you need. They're carrying the ashes of what they destroyed. Do you really want to rebuild with those ashes? Or would you rather stand tall in the fire you've created for yourself? This moment is your test. Will you let them back in, knowing the damage they caused? Or will you realize that their absence gave you something far greater than their presence ever could? Your strength, your clarity, your freedom. Stoicism teaches us to act with wisdom and restraint, not to be swayed by fleeting emotions or false promises. Their return is not a sign that you should go back to the way things were. It's a reminder of how far you've come and how much you've grown. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." When they come crawling back, don't prioritize their opinion over the life you've built for yourself. And don't get lost in the fantasy of revenge or making them regret leaving you. True strength isn't about proving them wrong. It's about realizing you no longer need their validation. Their crawling back doesn't change your worth, it confirms it. But by the time they see it, you should already be so far ahead, so deeply rooted in your strength, that their opinion doesn't even matter anymore. Remember this, their regret doesn't erase the pain they caused. Their return doesn't undo the damage. And their crawling back doesn't mean they've changed. The person who left you in pieces might not be capable of honoring the person you've become. And that's okay, because you didn't rebuild for them. You rebuilt for you. When they come crawling back, you have a choice. You can let them in and risk reopening old wounds, or you can close the door and walk away with your head held high. Whatever choice you make, let it come from a place of strength, not weakness. You don't need their return to validate your growth. You don't need their regret to prove your worth. Say it now. I don't look back. Write it in the comments. Declare it. Own it. Say it again. I don't look back. Because their crawling back is not your moment of validation. It's your moment to stand firm in everything you've become. Write it down and let it be your declaration of strength. This is your power. Use it. In conclusion, life isn't about waiting for someone to come back or for things to go back to how they used to be. It's about stepping into your power, facing the hard truths, and building a life so strong, so unshakable, that you don't need anyone to validate your worth. You have the strength to let go, the resilience to rebuild, and the courage to move forward. Remember, you're not defined by who left you. You're defined by how you rise after they're gone. The path to freedom starts with a choice, and that choice is yours to make. If this message hits home for you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel for more raw, hard-hitting truths and lessons that empower you to reclaim your life. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and drop your affirmation in the comments. Take this moment to commit to yourself, because your journey to strength and freedom starts right now.